Welcome to this closing session of Circular Product Design Assessment. Really nice to have you here and so many people joining. It's been a wonderful few weeks. I hope you felt the same. Very intensive, especially for you guys and girls. What we thought would be nice to start off with is to do a very, very short round where, and because of time, we keep it short, where you tell your name and what the product was you've been working on, so that we can all link your face to the products that you've done. And for that, Buzz on the next slide is showing the products. And of course, there's different orders probably in the Zoom for everyone, so I can just follow the order that I see. So starting with Sarah. Hi, what was your product?
Hi, my name is Sarah and I worked on the electrical step. It's at the left, the lowest one on the left.
Yeah, welcome, welcome. Charlotte.
Hi, yes, my name is Charlotte. You can't see my picture here in the photograph, but I worked on the modular sofa system.
Super, thanks. And will you still share that on the Miro board?
Yeah, I had multiple things.
Yeah, I know, no problem. But just
so yes, I will definitely share it later. Yeah.
So it's also for the other participants. You can still visit it even though the course ended and see some last additions and new products. Great. Hey, remove spotlights. Buzz, can you remove my spotlight? Because now I can't see the people anymore.
Oh, I was sorry.
I'm not sure if you didn't.
I didn't. All right, that's good.
I only see Buzz. Okay, just someone unmute, give your first name and what product you worked on. Let's see if that works.
Yeah, I'll start. And Tine Stelwagen, I worked on the product in the middle, the second from the right, the Zeender Comfort.
Yes, welcome. Thank you. Who's next?
Okay, of course. My thing is the pencil. It's in the middle on the bottom.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks, welcome. And it's nice for you to know that we started developing the circularity calculator using a big pen as an example. So it was very nice to see.
Ah, nice. Yeah.
Who's next?
Yes, I'm Tom, and I worked initially on the nutcracker in the top, the third from the left.
Yes.
And later on, I switched to the coffee maker next to it.
All right, nice.
Super.
Yeah.
Yes. And I see you again, so that's nice. Irina.
Hi, my name is Irina. I'm from Heidelberg in Germany, and I worked on the hot wire cutter, which you can see on the third from the right on the bottom.
Ah, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Robin. Robin?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my name is Robin. I worked on the cross-sort carrier. If you look at the bottom row, the second one, that one was my product.
Yes.
Super, thanks. Next on my view is Susanne.
Hello, my name is Susanne de Graaf. My product is not on this list. I was a bit behind with all the homework. I worked on the soft goods of a product I designed, and it's a stroller. And I added to the Miro board, so everybody should be able to see it.
Super, thanks, Susanne. So next up is someone whose name is abbreviated to NLAVDD. Welcome.
Yeah, that's me. My name is Arno. Hello. I worked on the cross-sorter deck. You can see that one on the right, second from the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, yes. One of the team. Yes, yep. And I think Cor already introduced. Maarten not yet, if I'm correct.
Indeed, my picture is not here, but I worked on a brass coil that normally goes into an MR machine to get a better image quality. Fortunately, quite at the end of the project, I found out there was a confidentiality, so I couldn't upload it to the Miro board.
Too bad, but that can happen.
Good
I
enough.
hope it was still useful.
I thought I was in the clear, but because it's a very old one, but in the
Yeah.
end it was still a problem.
Too bad. Next up, I see IRPYSH.
Yeah, my name is Asefe Pishro. My product case was Mini Travel Computer Mouse that is located in the right side of scene. You can see it.
Yes, welcome. Max? Oh, we can't hear you, but you weren't muted, so that might be an audio thing.
Yes. There you are.
Yeah?
Yeah, better?
Super.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So my name is Max. Also worked on a mouse, top left. It's not a real photo. I took that from the internet because I had already taken it apart.
Super. Next up, I will leave it up to you to decide who we've had and not yet. So please unmute if you didn't have your turn yet.
Right, I'm Liv, and I have the grass shear or kind of handhold grass cutter in the middle, down, middle bottom. Yes.
Nice case study. Nice one.
Yeah, super. Who still wants to go? I think that we have several more people.
Hello, good afternoon. This is Safran Alkmaar with the four of us here.
Hello.
Hello.
So that's Hans Hulshoff, Stefan Berghuis, Thomas Sonneveld, that's me, and Peter Bates. And the four of us worked on a single product, and we split it up into 4 separate sub-assemblies. Me personally worked on the trolley door, so the catering door.
Yeah, that's a bit top left.
Yeah, sorry, mine is not on the board, but I worked on the main side panels of the construction, the body of the trolley. That was mine part. And Hans?
Yeah, I worked on the second from the top to the right side. That's the trolley base where the casters are mounted, or the rolling base of the catering trolley.
Okay, and I worked on the top of the trolley. That's on the right base corner.
Thank you. So that's Team Safran.
Yes.
Who's next? Ibtisam, did we already? Oh, you had mic issues, right?
Yeah.
So let's see in the chats.
I don't see anything in the chat. I cannot see the chat.
Issue with the microphone. Anyone know by heart what Ibtisam worked on? Oh, sorry, I don't know. There's too many participants to know by heart.
Or maybe we can
And I
move
think
forward.
Yishi, if I pronounce it correctly, do you have audio?
Yeah, Ishi or Isha, either way is fine.
Super. And what product have you been working on?
Logitech gaming mouse. It's not on the screen.
It's not in, no.
I'm guessing it's confidential, right?
I don't think so.
Oh, you don't
But
think
it's
so?
fine. Yeah, I saw actually. I see other Logitech mouse here, but
Yes, so feel free
the one
to
I
share.
work on is G304, I think.
Right.
Welcome. Did I miss out on anyone? Or were we complete now? Think so, right? Okay,
All
let's continue.
Yes, I had a diversity of products, from large products like the snowplow to smaller items like the door hinge, and from mainly metal-based products like the trolley, but also plastic-based products like the coffee menu, which also consists a little bit of metals, of course. It's some nice mixed product. It's nice to see your active response to other participants' case studies on the Miro board. And let's go. Oh, why does it work? Let's go to the next slide.
Yeah.
And
We really like the work that you did on the Miro boards. I hope you find it as addictive as we did, just peeking at it sometimes and seeing the responses that you gave to each other. One big compliment to Sarah, who actually gave feedback to so many participants. So well done. It was noted, especially as some are still lagging behind. So that's compensated for that.
Yeah.
So if you haven't done so already, feel free to give input to your fellow participants, the one that you were linked to on the Miro board.
Yeah, and sharing your results will actually help you also. And looking at other results will help you in becoming a circular practitioner more and more and see more case studies. So it's a really nice way of sharing and dealing with it. All right. So what are we going to do in this session, Ingrid? First, we will discuss the results of your reflections, followed by a final Q&A, where we will discuss some questions we found in the forum, which I think can be very useful for general answering, but also some questions we received via email. And we will end up with any urgent and leftover questions for you to ask in the last 10 minutes of this session. So we'll see. Last but not least, we are very interested what your next steps will be in becoming a circular practitioner. And but let's start with your results from your reflections and show you some surprising findings you have while doing this course.
Yeah, so that was the first question. What was your most surprising finds? And we really enjoyed what you found. So to start with, Robin said, I was really surprised by the value that is lost in a linear scenario. And indeed, that's a very, how do you say, powerful, it seems simple, but it's a very powerful number you can use for discussions within your company or with your clients, depending on how you work. To start a discussion of how to do things differently and how to move to a more circular scenario. And Asafeh also added to that you know, you have the lost value. That's a number that you can easily find already in the linear scenario. And then when you start computing different circular scenarios, you can find what part of that value you can potentially capture. And that, of course, will interest most of the business departments in companies, especially if it's numbers as high as listed in this slide. Yeah.
So it was good to hear from some of you that you found the tools easy to work on, even with a product with many components, like the snowplow from Matej. We're still working on improving the user experience of spreadsheets of hotspot mapping, so that changes of making mistakes become less. So I'm really happy to hear that they were easy to use. And we think they can be improved a lot, some of them at least. If you have any suggestions on improving the tools, please let us know by sending us an email.
Next up was that several of you mentioned the early stage of product development. That's where you need to start with circular design. Yeah, we totally agree. It's a really powerful stage to start thinking about circularity, because you need to make several strategic design decisions that for some of you may even go beyond what is normally on your plate as a design job. So that's definitely a good stage to start with. Yeah, totally agree.
All right, the second question we have asked you to reflect on was about the opportunity for easy or major wins. And of course, there are quick wins to improve the circularity of your product, for instance, by increasing the use of recycled materials. And that's one of them, which you can make a circularity percentage of 50% already. If you only use recycled materials, I think that's a good start.
Or renewable materials.
Or renewable
materials. Both for the technocycle or the biocycle. Remember the nutcracker.
Yeah.
That was a nice case of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's completely renewable.
Yeah.
This was also one takeaway in the feedback video of episode 3, where we assessed resource circularity.
Yeah.
All right.
Another win that was discussed by multiple of you is to redesign the fasteners or the fastening system. So both Liv and Robin found an easy win to improve their design on that. And I'm guessing that more of you had these insights. And of course, fastening is so important when it comes to design for disassembly.
Yeah. Timon actually applied the clumping strategy, and I think it's not this one, it's this one. The clumping strategy where parts are connected to each other as a sub-assembly with the goal of making a priority part easy accessible. And the strategies are all described in the hotspot and disassembly mapping manual. So take a peek at that, check them out, and other strategies to make your linear product more circular. Peter actually touched upon the point of control over the complete cycle, especially the recovery phase. If you do not have access to the products at the end of life, you really depend on third parties to recover the materials, like waste companies or recycling companies. And you should think about the return strategy in place to make recovery successful. So now let's check out some examples of redesigns, Ingrid.
Yeah, both Arno and Sarah showed visuals with redesign suggestions, so that's why they ended up in this slide. Arno totally rethought his design, and I saw on the Miro board, I think it was Tima that said like, hey, but you're just removing, you're removing entire components, so what's their functionality? So I don't know if there's a short answer to that, Arno, but at least it sparked your thinking.
It looks like
Arno.
Yeah. So no, it's real easy to explain. Now the motor is in between the belt, and there is a possibility to remove that lower roller that you see, and use a drum motor instead of a standard BLDC motor. So then you lose a lot of components. And the reason for that third roller is that the belt is how do you explain it? As wide as the complete deck is, so we had to, put the motor in between.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
So now, a drum motor, that's a possibility. Then you lose a lot of components.
That's nice. That's nice.
Clear.
Yeah. And Sarah showed some very nice. It can be so simple, showing pictures and adding lines to it. So the electric system has some connection points, if I say correctly, Sarah, to really make it much easier to disassemble or disconnect several electronic parts. So well done, and looking for more.
Yeah. As you can see in this overview, I've confirmed that different products call for different circular strategies. And sometimes it makes sense to combine strategies. For instance, by applying refurbishment as well as remanufacturing. And beware though that trying to implement many strategies at once has a lot of implications, like thinking about the return strategy of your products and maybe require too large of an investment. So keep that in mind. If you want to do it all in one go, I think you should be aware of that. You can become a circular one step at a time and prepare full circular wisely in the upcoming future.
Yeah, but you could, even within one product, you may recall this slide from the starting webinar, also within one product design, you can focus on different strategies. Remember the toaster.
Yeah. As you
need to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Moved through it. For some, just like you said, Ingrid, we mentioned also already the toaster from the Agency of Design, and I would like to refer that to as an inspirational thinking, where you can have a redesign of a good old toaster for different circular recovery strategies. And on the left side, you see the everlasting robust design, which is transferred along generations. So one generation gives it to the next generations, and it will last for more than 100 years. In the middle, you see the easy to repair modular toasters, where you can replace parts and never get without a functional toaster. So one part of the toaster will be replaced, but the other parts are still functioning. And on the right, you see the easy dismantling product designed for recycling, where materials are disconnected in one pop and can be sorted on material level very quickly. I think that's very inspirational thought. So please go to the website if you want to have some inspiration during the weekends or maybe tonight.
Yeah, there's nice videos there. Yeah. So apart from inspiration, we also ask you for bottlenecks, of course, to be addressed. And one that we noticed this year that came up several times, which we also discussed during the previous episode, is that collection is a key step for going circular. So for each of those strategies, you will find collection is key, and several of you commented on that. So yeah, giving incentives to the user, how to do it in an economically beneficial way. And this also ties in closely to the business model that you want to implement.
Yeah.
So yeah, we hope that by calculating the potential value capture, that gives you some impression of how much money could we invest to do this in an economically viable way. And of course, it's only the first step, but it's an important one, and we can understand that can be a huge bottleneck for companies that you need to address to go circular. Yeah, good find.
All right, and many of you gave us concrete ideas how you will incorporate your newly gained knowledge in future projects, and it's super exciting to hear that Matthijs' company wants to implement the knowledge into all of their products. Good one, I'm looking forward to that one. And Hans comes up with the idea to supply this assembly for recycling manual with their trolleys. And perhaps during the discussion later on, we can talk about how to incentivize consumers to actually disassemble before recycling, and really helps in getting materials sorted in that site.
Yeah. And that's Sarah rightfully highlighted the importance of having a business strategy and building partnerships in making circular scenarios successful. We have a next slide on that.
Yeah.
Also, Irina said applying a holistic approach, looking at the entire system, looking beyond the first use cycle. And I think that's what many of you commented upon. And that's really different when you compare it to like ordinary or linear product design. And yeah, totally agree with that.
Yeah. And then finally, Peter shared with us that he and his colleagues would need more insight on what happens to their products at the end of life. And knowledge is key. We encourage you to dive into this, also to find opportunities in that sense.
Yeah.
So now let's return to you and your questions. There were some questions in the forum about calculating the environmental impact of products. Or in the words of Sarah, I would like to learn more about tools for the environmental impact. And as discussed in the previous feedback video, circular product design is not per se also sustainable design by looking at the environmental impact alone. We think it's important that you keep highly valuable parts and material long in use, just like parts which embody a high environmental impact. Circular product is all about keeping materials, parts, and products as long as possible in the loop. And the return policy where materials are shipped back and forth does have an impact and could surpass the impact of simply wasting and incinerating the product. But then again, do we really want products to be incinerated for energy production, for instance? We think as designers you should do both. The LCA software is readily available, but often you have to pay for the environmental impact database. And if you never have done an LCA, I would like to refer you to the Fast Track LCA by Joost Volklander, which is can be seen over here. It's a booklet you can buy online, but you also have a website online, which is the eco-cost value ratio, value.com. Fast Track LCA is based on the IDEMAT database, which is developed at the TU Delft. And you can find them. You can even download them from the ecocostvalue.com website. The database can be downloaded as a spreadsheet, which consists of a list of impacts of materials and processes. And you can find the website underneath data. So keep that in mind. This is the website. It might be a little bit blurry to search for it, but actually you can find the data in there. It's near the top. You can find a spreadsheet which you can download.
Yeah, and ideally, I would recommend to do a profit course like this one, but then on LCA for product design. Unfortunately, we don't have it yet.
Yes, we have. I think Joost Volklander actually made an InnoMat, which is an online MOOC to use the Fast Track LCAs. And you can find also details on that on the eco-cost value ratio, but you can also search for InnoMat. So sorry, I didn't put this in the slide, but Inomat is there. INNOMAT. Maybe we can put that in the chat for later use. Thanks. This database is a spreadsheet database, but it's also available as an app for the iPhone, like this one, and the inomatapp.com, where you can actually search for different materials and see what the eco impact on CO2 level is, but also on the eco cost rate value, which is developed by Joost Voogtländer himself. Other tools you can use are the Equalizer, and I particularly like this one because it's already one of them. Well, I think it's already been there since the 1990s, and it started out as a set of cards which can be used to calculate the impact when you have access to the bill of materials. But it's grown into an online LCA tool free to use for your projects. So when you want to go, so I think it's a really nice start for people to do an LCA once and try it out. You have to be careful because they're not certified LCAs, and when you want to go pro, you make use of professional LCA tools like Gabi or CIMAPro, and they're difficult to learn. They really have a steep learning curve, and you need either to follow a course to make use of them or hire a consultant who can help you out in making a professional and also a certified lifecycle assessment. So other questions from the forum are, for instance, from ASFE. So how do you see the future of EU regulations over the right to repair? Well, first, I would like to refer to this page about sustainable products. It's been published in March 30. It's written by the European Commission, where they present their vision on sustainable, and not even vision, but also the laws which are going to be enforced on more repairable products. One of the EU measures aims to ensure that by 2030, a significant part of the products on the EU market are designed to be more durable and energy and resource efficient, repairable, recyclable, and with preference for recycled materials. And where consumers have access to the information, so more the right to repair, they need to make more sustainable choices, are better protected against practices harmful to the green transition, and have longer lasting products. So actually, it's really in place, and it's going to be enforced by the EU in the upcoming future. And this is already their goal of 2030, so keep that in mind. So this will have an effect on how to design products for this upcoming future.
Yeah,
Ingrid.
Yeah, next up, and I think it was ASFE that asked this, but correct me if I'm wrong. What are the opportunities and limitations of the circularity calculator tool? Yeah, difficult question. Actually, I hope that you've experienced several of the opportunities and limitations yourself. So we can also discuss more of that at the end of this webinar. One of the limitations I want to highlight is that, as you have noticed, is really a tool that you can use already in the early design stages. Some of the people or companies using it would also like to use it to prove how circular their redesign is. And of course, you can imagine that it's tricky because this tool shows like an aggregated picture, or how do you say it, a complete picture of the overall production volume and what the impact would be. So it doesn't model like cycle 1, then cycle 2, then cycle 3. So it will be relatively hard to track the actual circularity. So like with the LCA, you can do a quick scan LCA to really learn about the impact that you're making. And you have certified LCA to really prove that your product, or prove between brackets that your product is probably more environmentally friendly than the current product.
Competitor or
yeah. So I would say, do not try to use this tool in that way for proving we are this and this circular. Nevertheless, we see companies doing it anyway, so maybe that's a good one for a follow-up iteration or extension.
Yeah, but it also gives you argumentations for your management to go a certain direction if they see the value of it. Yeah. And they might even be overcoming this issue of its sustainability is at a cost. Well, actually, you can earn a lot by doing it, so yeah, it really helps.
Also, it's really difficult to model a circular solution with multiple cycles within LCA. And then an opportunity of this tool is that you can calculate how much resources you would save. So that would provide you good input data for modeling a circular scenario within LCA. And other than that, we see like hundreds of opportunities, of course. So that's, I'm guessing there's also more limitations. So let's discuss more if you'd like that at the end of this discussion.
By mail, we received a couple of questions about the availability of the tools and the platform. Hotspot mapping will be available forever, so you can actually use it. It's open source, and we will improve it and probably in the upcoming years and probably publish it via the repository of our TU Delft. Circularity calculator.
So Circularity Calculator, this full version is still available to you for 2 months after the course ends. So from now on for 2 further months. After that, you would need to acquire a license, but please contact me if you are interested in that, because there's opportunities to give you a good deal to start off with and really try this as a tool within your company.
Yeah.
I think the main purpose of using it in this course is to understand the rationale, get an instinct for what it means to go circular, so that you will keep having, but if you really want to model in more detail, you can either do so in the coming 2 months or get a license afterwards.
Yes, all right.
And also a question was about how long this platform is still accessible. So it's currently inactive. We will open up some parts for those of you that still need to submit assignments in the coming week, but it will be available for the next 6 months. So you can still watch all the videos, etc.
All right. And you can even download the videos, I think. So for later use, you can do that. All right, and currently, well, the last question, is there any literature on circular product design? Well, currently there's not much books, but mostly papers. But you can find our papers on this topic within the course, like the paper on hotspot mapping and circularity calculator. They are freely available on the platform. And of course, you can find nice examples where designers applied their work in books, like the Circular Revolution, and a very inspirational book on designing circular bicycles. A nice read for the summer holiday, I think. But of course, you can also find lots of students' work on our own TU Delft repository. And this is the repository.tudelft.nl. And just search on circular or one of our names, so De Pauw or Flipson, and you'll find lots of theses of our students designing circular products, service systems. So it's open, I think it's open and free for everybody to use. Repository.tudelft.nl. So now let's turn to you and maybe your questions.
There's a few in the chat.
There's a few in the chat. Maybe you can come forward. So who's chatting? Who's
Itisam asked if we can use a circularity calculator for research purposes.
Yeah, I think so. It's the same as for companies on its availability. So I would, if you want to use it after the 2 months, I suggest you contact us at Ideal & Co, so the company that developed this tool together with TU Delft, but it was developed in a European project separate from TU Delft. So just contact them to see what's possible. And of course, the white paper has been published, so you can use that for sure.
Yeah. And then we have the Safran team who asked if the videos, they are YouTube embedded and there wasn't a download.
Oh, there wasn't a download. Oh.
No, I think that's because the university wants to prevent people from downloading these videos and then developing their own course around it. So I'm guessing that's what's behind that, but at least it will be available for the coming 6 months. So we hope that's sufficient time to train everyone at Safran on circular product design assessment.
Yeah. Maybe you can find the link to the YouTube movies. I don't know.
And Itisam earlier asked if you can still have another chance to send in the assignments.
Yes, of course, of course.
Yeah, please send us an email. So we need to open up because, as you may have noticed, it's currently not available, but we can ask for a short extension. Of course, we have upcoming summer holidays, so we cannot provide too long of an extension, but just drop us a mail when it would be possible for you to submit. You're not the first, so don't worry. And if at all possible, we'll be happy to still help you.
Yeah, and if you want to have the certificate for this course, please submit it ASAP, because then we can actually give you the certificate. At a certain point, it's over. Then we are on holidays. So keep that.
Then you still have the learnings.
Of course.
Yeah. So other than that, I would suggest please unmute, ask any further questions or whatever it is that you'd like to share with the rest, because now we're here with so many of us.
If someone wants to confirm if the access to the platform lasts for 6 months.
Yes.
Yes, it does.
All right.
Yeah, I've got a question from for legislation. It's already mentioned here earlier on. From the 2030 Go Circular or More Circular. There's the Circular Products Initiative from the EU. Does anyone know from which year that will be implemented?
No, I think it's we have the French Repairability Index, which is already implemented for certain product categories, also last year already. And the EU, we've been working together with JRC and the EU on assessing the tools which have been developed to assess the ease of disassembly and also the repairability. And the EU is working on repairability scoring. And I think we published a report. We published it in January this year, and it became a little bit silent from then on. So unfortunately, but I hope it's always a slow process. That's what I know. And I hope 2023 will be the first. We will hear the first steps of what's going to be done on repairability in this sense. So there's also standards, the EN 4555X standards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9, and 0, and I think they're really interesting to look at. They're actually focusing on repairability, and those standards will become also the standard. But when they're going to be enforced, that's something I don't know.
Yeah, it's something to prepare for. Yeah, good.
Yeah, I think we made a list on the Profit webpage.
Yeah, I believe it's
something on legislation, and
I believe it was in the first.
Yeah, so have a look at that website, and then there's lots of links also to look at. So
yes, okay, yeah, thanks.
Marta has a very practical question. Are we allowed to share screenshots of the tools on LinkedIn? Of course you can, but not of the work of other participants, please. We know that it's not confidential if you shared it on the Miro board, but yeah, feel free to show your other results. We are planning, hopefully we will also share LinkedIn posts about the finalization of this course today. So feel free to share. If you're quicker than us, just share it and we'll like it and forward it as well.
Yeah, I think we even have a LinkedIn webpage nowadays. Circular Product Design Assessments. And I will put the group, and I will put it in the chat if I can find it. So,
yeah, okay. In the meantime, Yishi asked, have you thought about incorporating carbon footprint as one of the indicators in the circularity calculator? Indeed, we have, but as you may have learned by now, it's more tricky than just adding the carbon footprint of the materials, because especially the difference between assessing impacts in our current linear scenario, which has a lot of carbon impacts, is about the transporting of parts between, different companies, from users back to the factory. So that would require a lot more data to be added to the circularity calculator. And as there are LCA tools available of that, we think it's wisest to use that, because maybe in the future it's on the wish list to combine those tools, but it will also ask you to have an input of much more data than you currently need to calculate circularity. So the methodological implications are quite impressive and need to be researched carefully before we implement it, because we don't want to limit it to the carbon footprint that's embedded in the materials, because, you know, transport may be way more important, for instance. Yeah. Charlotte says, I'd love to improve my circular product design skills. What other course or studies would you suggest to do? So actually there's a page on that on the platform with multiple links. So there's links there already. If you haven't done the Circular Economy, an Introduction MOOC of TU Delft, I would certainly recommend it. It's very nice to do, give some basic knowledge, videos from different experts. So yeah, I would definitely suggest that one, but there's many more links on that page on the platform. And maybe some of you have suggestions for courses that you've already done that you would like to share. Ibtisam has just already suggested that what I said now, so thank you for that.
So in onlinelearning.tudelft.nl, you can also find lots of courses where you can also find these ones. This is our own course, Circular Product Design Assessment, but also Circular Building Products, Circular Economy, Sustainable Packaging if you're more into products that flow, Engineering Design for Circular Economy, etc. So, and the Circular Economy and Introduction. This one is the main course which actually introduces you to the first steps in Circular Economy. Yes.
Oh, and Liv is saying, this is my Bible, Liv. So that's quite a compliment. Thank you so much. It's super cited, which I think is more of something, you know, this paper getting traction and therefore cited a lot. But it was one of the first papers that provided a link between business model and product design. But I would say that by following this course, you've become way more advanced than what is covered in that paper already, if I'm honest. So don't forget that by having done this course, you can consider yourself a circular product design assessment expert. And that's already quite a start, a nice start. Because if you have a design background, seeing the results has sparked already ideas to redesign your product. And there's, you know, Vas already shared some strategies like clumping to really improve the design. But there's more. So Marjolein shared a link into the course page that you.
All right.
Oh yeah,
excellent.
with all the links.
Yeah, and also put the online learning website where you can find, with the search of circular, where you can find all different courses we provide in TU Delft. And mostly they are free, so they are massive open online courses, so they're free to use.
Yeah. So I think those were the questions that you put in the chat, and we still have some 15 minutes left to have some more of an informal discussion or sharing of thoughts. Anything you would like us to keep in the next run of this course or to change in the next run. Of course, there's a survey which you're asked to fill out, so please do so. We really look at those results and incorporate them in the following run of this course. So
there's another question still. A final question I think we can answer, then move to the last. So do you have any suggestions where to find more design for disassembly examples? I would say go to the repository.tudelft.nl and search for circular or my name, and then you'll find, I think, more than 3 or 4 design for disassembly examples. Currently, so one of them is a baby seat for a car baby seat, etc. So yes. And maybe move over, because I think I would love to hear your stories. So maybe we can move on to the next question. So what are the next steps? I'm really looking forward to, if you learn something from this, I hope so, and how you're going to do your next steps. So what are you going to do? So maybe we can start. I will end the show now, then we can actually see each other a little bit more. Oh, finally, I see you because I didn't see you. So, who wants to start first? What are you going to do? Or maybe have a question or whatever. So, Liv, I see you talking.
No, but I will continue dig deeper into this. That's like my biggest interest. So I'll do that, and I have a great job as a circular consultant. So I will be trying to develop that at our consultancy.
So what are you going to do this summer then? First thing.
Train trip with my family to England.
Oh. And on the topic?
Rest. Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We're looking forward to your future designs and consultancy on this topic. So, anybody else?
Yeah, I will use the knowledge to, like any company, we are going more circular. So I will use this knowledge to help our company go more circular.
And any first thoughts on how what you'd like to apply first?
First I have to convince the management to make a transition. Of course, they are talking. They want to go more circular, but it really has to happen, and it's a big transition. So I hope the knowledge, and I will make a presentation, give it to the management, and see where it goes then.
Yeah, you can actually use the data as well you produced during this course.
Yeah, exactly. I will use that data. Yeah.
I would go for the value in the waste bin approach.
Mm-hmm. I will show the euros.
Yeah, they'll wake up, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Great.
All right. Anybody else?
Yeah, I would like to explain what I'm gonna do. Because it gave me a lot of knowledge. I'm working on the SOFA system for quite a while, and I wasn't able to visualize the circularity, and the company and the other Kate partners. I don't know the English word right now.
Value chain partners.
Value chain partners. Thank you. To talk about the circularity and the reason why I want to use different kind of materials. That's quite hard in the furniture industry. They are quite old-fashioned, actually. Mm-hmm. So these tools can really help me visualizing the story based on data and figures, which helps, of course, the conversation with people, and also with the people with the money mindset. As long as they see that they can make money out of this, out of the transition, out of the sustainability and the circularity, then they're more eager to listen and talk and see what's possible. So
great.
Yeah.
Also convincing management. Nice.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, it's super helpful. I was so happy with these tools. They gave me a lot of insights on what you feel and what you think, but now you can definitely show it. So that's thanks very much for this.
Great. Well, good luck with that. I'm really looking forward to the results of that. Anybody else?
Yes, I'd like to say something about our company and the 4 colleagues who joined together with me this course. I'm very happy with that, because then you have a stronger base and we can talk the same language. So in the first place, we will, in the next 2 weeks, we will sit together for a while and see what we can do with that. Robin and Arno are really designers. They do, or they can do more in their designs, but also to talk about it with other colleagues. And Max Lotte and I are working in another team, and I like to use the circular calculator tool and also the bill of material, of course, but also to quickly go through some cases. And a lot of the products are able to make, or they are kind of circular already, but it's also the collection, and that we don't pay enough energy and attention to get things back, although they can live for 15 years or so. So the product design is changing anyway. But with, for example, the circular calculator, we can quickly see some effects of what we have not done yet, and what if we have done things, and to compare that, and also to make other people more encouraging to make next steps and to go circular further.
So it worked well to join with a group of people from the same company.
I think so. We didn't meet each other so much during the course, but
no.
So no fierce competition as to which strategy would be best.
No,
I'm not sure about how the Safran team, if they had the same experience. We were wondering beforehand if we would get into these, colleague fights.
No, we work together.
Right. It's all collaboration.
Yeah.
Not fighting.
We should go for recycling.
All right.
Yeah, who's next?
Yeah, on the Safran end, to connect to that directly, we also worked as a team simultaneously on the assignments, although there was some alignment, but we did all the assignments by ourselves. And the next step for us is really to put all the assignments and all the results and findings next to each other, and evaluate that and bring it as one story towards the rest of the team and towards our management to strategize on the long run how to continue with this and to make a short-term action plan that results into, of course, a better circularity for our products in the end. So it's a bit similar to what was mentioned before.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, maybe to add to that and also add to core. So knowledge and awareness needs to be created within the group of people that do the designing. So at Van der Landen we have an academy, internal organization that makes learnings and shares knowledge. And I'm also going to be in contact with one of the learning consultants who is going to develop a circular design course internally, so specifically for our product, and then we will definitely share a lot of the learnings from this course. Maybe we will ring a doorbell to you, Delft, as a group, but we'll see. But thanks in anyway for the content.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, there's only so many people that we can, give this course to at a time. So spreading it further is super.
Yes, and we are open to help out in that sense. No problem.
Who's next?
Hi, I can share. I actually did this because I was looking into getting into the consultancy side of the circular economy. I think it's really interesting, and I did now my practice course, and I really enjoyed it, and I think it could have some great results, and so I'm really looking into doing this.
Cool.
Great, thanks.
So it's a sort of switch in career or adjustment towards circularity?
Yeah, it's more of an adjustment, and it will be eventually a switch, but taking one step at a time. Because I feel like a lot of companies do have interest and feel like it is a topic that they need to work on, but it's still very fluid. So I feel like it's still a difficult conversation. The projects in my location mostly focus on extra material that are lost during production, for example. These are then used by another company for some other purposes. I feel like that kind of misses the point of the whole circularity. So I'm trying to see how we can address this.
Nice. Yeah. So we have a few more minutes. So let's see if we have some more people that would like to share.
Meat is quite unknown. The last 3 years within Philips, I was in procurement and different operational roles to really learn bottom up what our products are, how circularity and reusing are going. And from the 1st of October, I will join a strategic team that can be in the role of consultant, circular economy, the group sustainability, but also joining design. So yeah, quite exciting. And yeah, happy to have this also as a learning on the way.
That sounds like a good combination of teams to make an important step in terms of circularity.
Yeah, indeed.
Great.
So I started bottom up, and now I hope to add to the R&D and design phase of our products.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Mm-hmm.
Asafe, you've been also very active on the platform, so I'm really curious what your next step will be.
Yeah, it was a productive struggle for me, and because I'm working in the domain of packaging, and I passed a sustainable packaging MOOC on online course, and that course intrigued me about the design, because design is I think that to me it's a missing part of over the course of value chain. So this course was so useful, and it boosted my circular literacy. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Super. Yeah, and packaging has special implications, especially for collection. You can imagine that will be very difficult because of its relatively low value compared to the product it's protecting. So how to get it back, or how to fit it into existing recycling infrastructure. That's of course, if there's not enough budget to set up a collection system yourself or together with other companies, one of the tricks to do is to see which recycling infrastructure already generates good quality resource output and design for that.
Yeah.
That's a workaround. Yeah.
I have a question about this. I think it's very interesting. Do you think you should have really a look at the local market, which local obviously recyclers can give some good output, or should you really look at a global scale?
Yeah, I may sound like a researcher with the answer, it depends, but I'm sure you agree, if you have a product in a fixed market, then please look at the local recycling infrastructure, because there's so many differences. Like, we in the Netherlands think we have an awesome glass recycling system because we collect, like, I think 90%, 98%,
or even more.
Yeah. But then if you talk to someone from Germany, they say, you mix all the glass materials into one bin, whereas we sort transparent, green and brown, which really, even though there are separation techniques, it becomes way more easy and economically feasible to get a high quality glass recycling. So what I think one of you said, we really need to dive into what happens to our product at the end of life. Please go and find out, and you may find such interesting opportunities. Yeah. So in that sense, I don't know if you know the Cradle to Cradle design principles, celebrate diversity. So that is one of the things. So there's such a diversity of recycling systems or remanufacturing infrastructure already there. Mm-hmm. But then if you're a multinational delivering your products to so many different countries, then a more general approach, making sure that if you shred your product, it falls apart in different material fractions would make more sense than really diving into the local specifics. Yeah. So yeah, it depends. But looking at local opportunities is a key point to get that high quality recycling rather than the downcycling, which one of you noticed didn't give you any points in resource circularity in the KPI.
Yeah, and if you look at consumer products, for instance, recycling is quite difficult because there's a lot of additives in plastics. Metal recycling is better, but it's still there's always a mix of materials. And what you see that some companies actually only take back their own products and not others' products. And if you have a take-back system, for instance, when you buy a new one, you can send back the old one then suddenly there is a system in place where you can actually recycle your own materials with the right additives added to it. And that's something which is interesting. So,
and Tima shared a nice link if you want to know more about design for recycling. Yeah, thanks, Tina.
Yeah.
So looking at the time, I think we need to wrap up. I think it's been an intensive 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We really enjoyed it. We hope you did too.
Yeah, and I would like to invite all of you to join our group on LinkedIn, and I put the link in the message. So please join our group. I'm the only member currently, so it would be nice if somebody will join me in that. But then actually we can share. You can share your results in the future in this group, and if you put a post on LinkedIn, it would be nice to refer to this group as well. I think everybody knows. Everybody will know about what's happening in circular product design and circular product design assessment. So please do so. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
And a big applause for all your hard work that you submitted. Well done.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Looking forward to stay in touch.
See you.
Ciao.
Thanks very much.
Bye.
Dank je wel.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.